welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and I am back with this bracelet. This is for Joe. Joe sent in an email asking if an elastic belt could be turned into a bracelet. Now, I'm not 100% sure if Joe meant to make it a braid exactly the way that the belt was done, or if he meant to make it as a bracelet. But since I do knots and I'm known for it, I did it this way. So it turns out if you do a braided with string, it works in the same principle as the underlying strings and the knot directions that goes on with making bracelets. So in this case, it's where the string was going over, that's the knot, and what's under is obviously the underlying string. So this pattern matches that belt exactly. Like it is, it's kind of interesting how it works. Now, getting it started was a bit of a difficult thing. You can possibly see here in the beginning here, trying to sort out which strings, at the beginning, because sometimes it's like one, and then you see like in the pattern it's like black goes 3 or something. But I know that every single instance of this doing is 2 knots and then switch directions, 2 knots, switch directions. And once I kind of got that down, the rest of this was really super simple. Like by about this point in it, it started to occur to me like this is not difficult. The one thing is though, if you stop midway across, because I'm working from left to right always. Okay, so like it's 2 knots to the right, then 2 to the left, 2 to the right, etc. If you stop midway, it becomes really difficult to see where you left off. So after having discovered this, whenever I needed to take a break, I would just stop when I got all the way to the right hand side, and that made it a whole lot easier to kind of come back to and know what needs to be done next. So that tip alone is probably worth watching this video and discovering how to do this. Another thing that's kind of interesting is, so the reds and the blue are only 3 strands, but the black and white are 4 strands. So there's 17 strings in all. And the black always seems to follow the white. So when you kind of take a look at this from a distance, it kind of reminds me of if you've ever been in an aircraft and you see the clouds and then you see the shadow of the cloud. It's a little bit like that, because there is, other than that, it looks super, super random. The whole bracelet, it's hard to kind of focus in on seeing the pattern for what it is, right? Oh, and there's only 3 gray, I think it's 3 gray. I'm not sure. Go back to the pattern page if you want to see that. But yeah, it looks super, super, super random, but if you try to analyze it really closely, you'll start to see how the rows kind of alternate, whether they're coming, downward spiral to the right or downwards to the left. And that just alternates every single row. Like there's nothing else going on with this, which again makes doing the pattern itself relatively simple once you get it started. Once you get going, that part is easy. I guess there's a potential for making a mistake, mind you, because it doesn't repeat itself so much because of the 17 strings, a weird odd number, the odd numbers of the other colors. It makes where if you look up at the pattern, you can pretty much pinpoint right where you are at any given time. So if you're ever curious as to, is this going according to the plan, that part seemed to be really easy. Like I would spend long durations of not paying attention to it, just kind of going about it, and then be like, okay, so where am I now? and then be able to find it really easily. And like, yep, all the colors are doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, and I get back to it. That felt pretty cool. That was a little bit exciting. So, yeah. I kind of want to say a beginner could do this because it's only left and right knots, but I think it's a lot of strings, and I think it's got a lot of potential for getting confused and messing it up and then not being able to see where the mistake was made. So maybe just somebody with a little bit more patience, maybe if you're the kind of beginner who follows the pattern really super closely, perhaps. I don't know. I honestly, I'd like to hear what you guys think on that, because for me, typically, if you're only doing left and right knots, that's typically beginner friendly. But in this case, you're constantly changing directions. In fact, this took me an hour and 40 minutes to make, because you never have a string for more than 2 knots, and then you have to go back and find which is the next string, and then find the one after that, and on and on. It's just really tedious. But again, once you get the pattern going, once you get into the rhythm, it's not bad. It's seriously not bad at all. It's got an interesting texture. I think that has a little bit to do with the constant changing directions. It's pretty flat, but it's a bit different. The backside I don't think is particularly pretty. Not like the front, but you might think otherwise. So I'm really hoping Joe appreciates this, right? Like, I went out of my way to do this. I thought it would be a fun challenge and give him something to try. Because yeah, this is definitely not my style of knotting. This is not my favorite kind of things to make at all. First off, I didn't even have a template to be this size. To be honest, when the template in the video was my 3rd try. My first try was, I thought it would be a 16 string. That wasn't it. So then I tried 18 string, and that wasn't it. And I realized it's somewhere in between. So 17 strings, you can't make this as a bracelet unless you double your floss, because of the, well, I say that if you want a loop, you can't do it unless you double it, because I have 17 strings in the loop itself, right? So that is, so it ends up being 17 doubled strings coming down, and that's how I was able to have a really cool kumi with it. So I suppose if you wanted to do this and you weren't wanting to double the floss, you would have to have both sides be the tassels, right? Because there's just no other kind of way of doing it. It's an odd number. So yeah, bonus for the double strings. I think personally, I think it looks pretty cool. I don't want to make more like it because it's sort of pretty tedious. Well, it might be interesting to see what happens if you try to reduce it down, make a skinnier version, right? So braids obviously work somehow in odd numbers. So 3, 5, 7, 9, I think seems like it'd be almost too normal. Maybe 11 strings? Because that'd be really close to my 12 string bracelet. Maybe 11 strings? I'm not sure how that would turn out. I could make a template for it and give it a shot. I wonder how many colors I should do that with if it was 11. It seems like it would be possible to do. It seems feasible after having done this one. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if it was smaller, it wouldn't take so long. It would be the same exact process as what this is, where every other one sort of does the lines. I was so ready to say nope, don't ever gonna do it, and now my brain is like, do it, make it happen, do the thing. So I'm not sure. We'll see how things go here. Oh, before I forget, let me just, because I don't know where I am in the whole making part here. Thank you to my YouTube members for making all of this possible. I just today made an order for floss, some 1,400 skeins, 1,400 and change, 1,450, 1,460, something like that. A lot of string, and I'm really kind of excited about getting it. So thank you guys for your help to make that happen. It's gonna feel a whole lot better seeing my airplane trolley back to being filled up with string again. So yeah, really excited about that. So if you want to have your name on the list, it's really easy. There's a join button down by where it says subscribe, and if you join, it's like $5 Singaporean or about $4 in the USD. So you guys can join, and you'll get to see the videos early, you get to see the patterns early, you get to have hangouts with me, you even get a little smiley face thing when you join the chat, which is kind of cool. So yeah, lots of perks, and yeah, hopefully you guys do join. It'll be fun. Yeah, the actual trying to make the template, figuring out like how many strings there were, that was all on the live stream. Once I figured out what was needed, that was what went into the video. So like there's bonus material from behind the scenes that you get to see with the member content. So oh, and this pattern is going to be available over on my website. So if you're interested in trying to make this thing for yourself, that will be available over there. You can make it the same exact colors if you want, or you could use GIMP to alter the colors accordingly. I deliberately make like where the white and the black strings are in the pattern a little bit different, so that way it doesn't mess up the lines of the pattern thing or the background when you choose select by color and then you swap that color out for something else. It makes it a whole lot easier. So I have taken that into account when doing the patterns for you guys. So hopefully that's kind of neat. Not that there's anything wrong with the colors in this, it's sort of cool. But maybe you want different, you know, and different can be fun. So anything else? Yeah, I think that's kind of really it. Like I've kind of gone over like how it's not terribly difficult, and you can like follow the pattern. Like I bet you I can probably figure out where we are in this just by sort of looking at it. Let's see, there's a blue, white, black, gray. Yeah, I know exactly where it is. Like I said, it's sort of it repeats, but it doesn't repeat exactly. And that makes it sort of easier to spot like where it is. Again, because there's like some of the colors are only 3 strands each. So it just makes it just a little bit different here and there. So that's pretty neat. Oh, if you do make this, I would like to see it on, you can share it like via Discord or I guess Instagram. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Oh, at the beginning, you have to pass a couple strands to either side to make up for the differences, because on I think you have to pass a red and a blue over to the left and like a gray to the right or something. Like there's a couple strands that have to get turned around so that way you get the right balance. Because for one, there's fewer strands on the right hand side. So you have to make up for that. And then the color, the way they go, you have to fix for that as well. It's not very difficult. If you follow the channel for a while, you kind of know that that's a thing. But yeah, this does have that, and that does sort of make it a little bit more difficult, I guess. It's not terribly bad. It's just something that, you know, kind of watch out for. Yeah, I think that's kind of it, guys. If you guys have patterns, ideas, things you want me to try, you can hit me up on Discord for that. That's probably the best place for it, because you can share the photos and or images or whatever. I just realized look how far away from the clip I'm working here. Like, typically I say that's a bad idea, but I've kind of gotten used to it since I've been making videos so frequently. So yeah, I guess. At least I moved it up a little bit. I think it's almost to the end now. I'll know here in a moment for sure. But yeah, this is... Yep. Yeah, we're right down near the end. So yeah, at the end, I did kind of keep checking the pattern. I didn't want to kind of overdo anything, and I wanted it to be exact. So yeah, at this point, I started watching the pattern a lot closer, making sure everything was right. And it turns out perfect. It turns out exactly like the pattern. So yeah, so you can see this starting to separate the strings that are done from the ones that I still have to work from. So if you're still here, thank you for hanging out with me. Be sure to hit the like button. It would mean the world to me. I really do appreciate that. And yeah, in the reveal, I'll show you both sides of it so you guys can check it out. So yeah, that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.